Today's episode is based on a metaphor that I heard from a client of mine. And as this client and I were in session, we were reflecting on how far they had come during the program. And this client offered a metaphor that just perfectly described the differences in relationships. We were talking about how they didn't want to go back to the types of relationships they had had in the past, the really unstable, unhealthy relationships, and how they wanted to move forward into something more stable and more sustainable. So this episode will give you a very tangible nugget to hold on to be able to discern what type of relationship you're in as you start to move into different relationships. And be sure to listen to the end where I will pull an oracle card that will offer you a specific message that you can use this week as you move forward in your healing to stay more conscious, more aware, more anchored into what you're doing and where you are going. Welcome to Heartbreak to Wholeness, the podcast helping you heal from the mindfuck of narcissistic relationships and move towards the secure, peaceful woman you want to become. We will explore all of the tools that you need to get through your grief, to move past those I'll be alone forever fears, and rebuild your confidence so you can move forward in healthy relationships as your full self, never to get sucked into the narcissistic spell again. I am your host, Bree Walta, relationship clarity coach and EFT certified practitioner. Let's dive in. I love my clients so much, and one of the reasons that I feel so honored to be able to witness growth in my clients and be able to hold space for my clients is because of the knowledge that comes out of them, the words that come out of their mouth as they start to really piece together all of the scattered pieces of their puzzle, right? They come to me and this 1,000-piece puzzle is just scattered on the table. Some is on the floor. Some is behind the couch. They don't know where the pieces are. And we're working together to really make sense of what the relationship was, who they are, who they were in that relationship, shifting those patterns so that they can become who they want to be in relationships moving forward. And to see the light bulbs go off, to see the understanding click in your body, click in their heart, and not just in their mind, where they've been spending a lot of time, right? My clients are very smart. They have been to therapy, they have read the self-help books, they have listened to all the podcasts, and they're still banging their head against a wall of what the fuck is not changing? And why am I still stuck? Why am I still attracting these types of people? Why am I still falling into these patterns? So they're moving from the analyzation, the rationalization of what's happening, and they're moving into the body. We're using the body to really integrate the feelings around what happened, to integrate their experience so that they can let go. Trauma is held in our body. It's frozen in our body at a moment in time in our life. And if we don't go back to revisit the feelings around that trauma, it's stuck. So we need to go and we need to free it, to move it, to allow space for it to breathe, to be witnessed in our truth and our story, and then be able to get curious around what needs to change, what no longer is part of the story that we're writing. So it's so incredible to watch my clients. And in this specific session with my client, we were talking about how far they had come. We were talking about where they were in the beginning of coming to our work, coming into the program, and where they were now after moving through the modules, after moving through all of our sessions, all of the support, and really shifting. And the thing that this client said that really stood out to me was that they wanted a relationship that felt like a solid table and not a pedestal. And what they meant by this is when you think about a pedestal, it's this tall, skinny structure. And on this structure, there's only room for one thing, right? The highlight. The highlight is put on top of the pedestal. So if we're putting the relationship on top of the pedestal, two things happen. Number one is that it's very easily knocked over. It's on this tall, thin structure. So if it's knocked over, it falls hard. And another thing that happens is because there's only room for the one thing on top of the pedestal, there's no room for other things in your life that are meaningful to you. So the relationship becomes this thing that we are looking up to, that we are devoting ourselves to. There's no more room for our loved ones or our hobbies or the things that bring us joy. So when the relationship falls, not only are you falling hard, but you have nothing else to lean onto. You have nothing else to fall back on. No other sense of self to maintain balance if one thing falls off. It's just the pedestal. It's just the relationship that was on there. All of your time, all of your attention, all of your worry, all of your mind space was going towards this one thing. You had lost sight of everything else and it had become just one piece. The sole piece of your experience was the relationship when it's put on a pedestal versus a solid table. So you think about a table, right? It's a larger surface area, 4 legs, it's grounded, typically like not as far away from the ground as a pedestal would be either, but it's balanced, it's solid, it's stable. So you're not as high up, you're not as unstable where a tiny little wind could blow you over. The relationship is on top of this really solid table. And because there's surface area, the other things can be on the table. Your loved ones, your hobbies, your work, your goals, your dreams, your desires. You can have everything at one time. There's balance. The relationship is a piece of the whole feast on the table. And I thought that that was such a potent visual to be able to use as you are in relationship or thinking about relationship. The importance of not putting the relationship as the primary, number one, only thing that matters, but putting it on top of the spread that you have that is your life. Because then when a relationship ends, one piece falls off. You still have all of the other components that make you you. It's less of needing to fully reinvent yourself and fully find yourself again after a relationship if it's not just the sole thing that's on the pedestal. The reflection that my client had around this metaphor and around how certain they were that they no longer wanted the pedestal was such a testament to the work and the dedication that they had put into understanding the past relationship and healing from it. If you're in the place where you can't see that there will ever be a shift for you, that you are maybe fresh out of the relationship and heartbroken, and you've been through several of these narcissistic or confusing relationships, and you're just ready to give up hope. Think about this client. Think about this light bulb moment that came from them after just a short amount of time and working through a coaching program with me to be able to have this land in their body of, I want the solid table. I don't want the pedestal anymore. People who bring the pedestal energy, people who bring that love bombing energy are no longer desired. We no longer desire them when we do the work. And I am speechless watching my clients move from the place of never thinking that something else is possible into being able to come up with these metaphors that have landed in their body is so incredibly amazing. And I hope that gives you some hope if you're in the place of being fresh out of a relationship, maybe having had several of these relationships in the past, and not being able to see how anything could ever be different, not being able to hold on to or embody the deservingness around having a solid table versus a pedestal. So much can change in such a short amount of time when you put in the intentional effort and work into your healing. Time in and of itself is not going to heal your wounds. Really looking at them and getting curious with compassion so that you can integrate the experience, so you can integrate the emotions, so that you can release that. That is how you move through heartbreak. That is how you heal from trauma. That is how you make sense of your situation so that you can shift it and not be in this default unconsciousness that you're just running around in these relationships. There's so much hope for you. I see it every day with my clients. The ahas, the light bulbs, the shift in I deserve this. I am worthy of this. I know now that I won't settle for anything less than the solid table. And you deserve that. You deserve the space, the safe space to be able to process and witness and shift. My coaching containers, my coaching programs are dedicated to creating this safe space for you to do your inquiry, for you to go on the journey back to yourself so that you can come through as the person that you want to be in relationships. In the notes, I have a link to an interest form if you're interested in talking to me further, starting a conversation around what that could look like for you. I know that that's a scary step. I know that there's a lot of ego fear that comes up when we think about, is this going to work? Is this going to be what I need? Am I making the right decision? I don't even know this woman. And I encourage you to get to know me. I encourage you to reach out for that first initial session where we just get to talk. We get to talk about where you are, about what I would recommend. If it's not working with me, I'll give you recommendations and referrals elsewhere. But I want you to have the tools to be able to move forward, to be able to heal, to be able to really fully embody and feel that shift so that you can experience healthy love. Being somebody who's been on the pedestal side and is now on the solid table side, I can tell you that this place was worth all of the tears, all of the journaling, all of the therapy, all of the coaching, to be able to experience a life where I am not waking up in anxiety, where I'm not walking on eggshells, where I'm held in a depth of respect and love is worth it. And you can get there too. And I hold that truth for you until you can find it for yourself. As we end these episodes, I always pull an oracle card one already flew out. It's a message. It's a message for you. As I shuffle, I put the intention into the deck of what do you need to hear? What do you right now in your car or walking your dog need to hear? And the message that you got is balance and motion. If you're not looking at the video of this, it looks like a woman who's walking on a tightrope. And I will read you what balance and motion has to say. Balance and motion requires you to make some subtle shifts. Balance isn't static. Micro changes create macro changes. Start small. Feel into these tiny movements that your unconscious is calling you to make. A little more of this, a little less of that. If you move quickly, you'll just spaz out and overcorrect. The changes you wish to make are possible with slight adjustment. Stop searching for the perfect middle point and stay in easy motion. Soft focus, light attention. Be aware of your position and gently move towards the right next step. The cards never lie. The balance and motion, the slowness, the subtle shifts create massive impact long-term in your life. I'm thinking of you. I am here for you. You are not alone in this experience, in this healing, in this journey. If you need support, please reach out. Again, that interest form is in the show notes. And until the next episode, I'll see you next time.